there are going to be some people that regardless of how gentle, regardless of how diplomatic, regardless of how you go about communicating your feelings to them, they are not going to want to hear a single word that you have to hear. And they're going to use all kinds of tactics to block your communication train so that you can't get through to them. And they're doing this because self-consciously they're having an issue, not with you so much, but with themselves. For example, if somebody lies to you, or somebody cheats you, or somebody strings you along in a situation where they should really be completely honest and open with you, and you call them on it, and you do it in such a way where you're trying to be loving, and you're trying to be as kind as you possibly can under the circumstances, and they don't want to hear that, that's because the problem that they're having is not with you. The problem that they're having is one of self-hate. Bottom line, that's it. They're hating themselves for whatever reason. Now, it could be they're hating themselves because they're not more like you. But a lot of times it could be they're hating themselves because they don't want to have to go through the struggle and the difficulties of trying to change their behavior. They don't want to have to do that. It's not a lot of times that they can't see how their behavior is impacting you. It's just that they cannot, it doesn't resonate with them how much pain it's causing you. They can actually see it in your reaction when you get angry and you lash out. If you do that, and don't ever let those type of people pull you down to that level. But they can see the pain that it's causing, but it doesn't inspire feelings with them of remorse. And so it in a way they can see it, but in a way in ways that count the most, they're not looking at it. They're not seeing it. And they're going to use blocking strategies to keep you from reaching them. In other words, they're going to use techniques that they probably used on many people before they met you, or many people somewhere down the line, and this is just so much of a habit for them that they just do it naturally. They're going to use these tactics and these strategies to throw you off in a narcissistic kind of way. What they're going to do is turn around everything that you say, for example, and put it all on you. A lot of times they won't directly say, oh no, I didn't do that. Oh no, you're really not feeling that way. But what they'll do is, and some of them are very masterful at performing these particular tactics, what they'll do is they'll engineer their responses in such a way as they're designed to give you the distinct impression that you should doubt yourself, and that you should actually turn around and look at yourself and make sure that what you're saying to them is accurate and is actually in step with what's really going on. When the reality is, 9 times out of 10, you've thought this thing through, and now you're saying something to them, and you're trying to solve an issue, and you understand the breadth and the width of it. So there's no need for you to doubt yourself or to question the validity or the veracity of what you're trying to accomplish with them. But just know that they're going to do everything that they can to tune you out. Even if, they're not going to necessarily just completely ignore you. They're just going to use responses that are designed to derail any attempt that you're going to make to try to get them to understand how badly their behavior affects you and affects other people. They're communication blockers, essentially what they are. It's just that the blocking mechanisms they use are not always readily apparent. I mean, yeah, you can see them, you can experience them using these mechanisms, but it's easy for you to become confused when you're trying to decipher why it is that they're using them, and you're trying to decipher exactly what it is they mean when they say certain things. For example, I've seen people, in the past I've had difficulties with, and I say, listen, this is why I said this to you, or this is why I said that to you, and they'll turn it around and say, well, I hear what you're saying, but this isn't really what I did was this thing, or I did that thing. And what they do essentially is they go all the way around the issue. All the way around the issue, so much to the point where they actually confuse what the actual issues are. They're communication blockers, or they're communicatively evasive. They don't want to take responsibility for their actions, and so this is what they do. Now, how do you handle people like that? Well, here's how you handle people like that. You don't deal with them. You don't, any more than you have to. Now, I know some people out there are married to folks like that. My suggestion to you is if when they start using these blocking maneuvers, when you're trying to communicate with them, make them aware of the fact that you know that that's exactly what you're doing. Yeah, it's not going to be a comfortable thing for either of you when you do that, because now exposing them is only going to make them more determined to block what you're saying or even make them angry. But it's going to be necessary for your peace of mind for them to understand that you know where they're coming from and that you're not going to have any of it. Now, if you're dating someone like that and they're continuously behaving in this manner when there's issues, my suggestion to you, and some people may hate this and some people might find this very difficult, and it can be because, let's face it, all of us, well, not all of us, but many of us out there have loved people who like to do this, but we're probably going to have to dissolve that relationship and get away from those people for our own peace of mind and for our own mental well-being. You know, you're probably going to have to turn around and walk away because you can't get anything done with them. Down the road, you're always going to have some kind of an issue in trying to get them to be honest and trying to get them to be forthright with you, but it's going to be hard to do if they refuse to acknowledge what their part is in creating an atmosphere, relationally speaking, that isn't conducive for either of you to thrive and enjoy. They're not going to want to say, hey, I admit that I was wrong or anything like that. They're not going to want to do that. They're going to want everybody around them to think that there's no issue with them and that they are, in effect, completely blameless and innocent, when actually they are the main culprits and they're at the center of all the drama and the controversy. Just remember that. When you're dealing with communication blockers, just know this. 9 times out of 10, there's no dealing with them whatsoever. Well, my name is Dave Thomas III. This is Faked Out by Love. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to share this video and spread the love and the knowledge. Also, down there in the comments section, I would appreciate hearing your perspective on the content of this video, good, bad, or indifferent. And if you haven't done so already, I'd love to have your support for my channel. So hit the subscription button down there and the notification bell next to it so that every single time that I upload a fresh video, you will be the first to know. Well, it's good seeing you and hearing from me, and I hope to do so again in the near future.